Welcome to week 5 of the Elestriad, where Powder, representing Zeus and the Thunder Pantheon, is throwing down against IronBoffin, representing Demeter and the Earth Pantheon. I'm very excited for this clash, as these two casters have been battling it out throughout the season, and while they haven't had the best fortune in terms of the win column, they've certainly made it entertaining, to say the least. If you guys didn't check out their deck profiles, you can look in the description below for that video. I'm really excited to see IronBoffin bring this fruit deck and now use it to its full fruition. You like that one? I thought that was pretty good. And now Powder is going to have access to his third Zeus and be able to pile on with that Spark-It Nexus. Let me know who you got in this one in the comments section below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's find out which of these casters is going to take out a victory today. All right, here we go. Looks like the 0-4 IronBoffin is going to kick this one off with a Clovey to get things started. That's going to allow him to draw a card from the top of his deck and start to build up that combo strategy. I really gotta say, obviously IronBoffin is 0-4. He's had a bit of a rough start so far in the Elestriad, but the growth we've seen and now the deck building we've seen has really come to fruition. I'm using that word again. It's kind of like the word fruit, and it just feels really good to say. But this idea of this fruit deck is something that I'm really excited about. You use the Clovey, use the Rummagem, you kind of build those pieces, those combo pieces, and then you pop off big time in the mid to late game with Drataya Powerful Draw Engine. You've got Latagon Destruction Engine. You got a couple different pieces of the puzzle that are going to help you out there, and that Clovey on turn 1 is a really good piece. Now here's the thing. We're going to see a poison tipped arrow. I love it. IronBoffin got a really nice back row setup now, picking up that fire starter, that getting the Gorgon's Gaze. He's got the PTAs. He's got a lot of good things. Shield of Achilles. He's really starting to put together a good deck. Powder's able to utilize Jolton here to grab that Mount Olympus and set the advantage with the Stadium. I would say if I was Powder, though, I would say you probably don't want to use the Stadium there because you're not going to be able to attack over the Clovey anyway unless you have a Zeus. So I'm not sure what he's thinking here. I would probably save the Stadium for the next turn because if Boffin does have a Stadium, he can clear it. But Zeus changes everything as now Zeus hits the field and Jolton with the disenchant from Zeus. A little bit of help there. A nice little empowerment will allow it to get over the Clovey if he wants to, even with the poison tipped arrow attack drop. And that seems to be the strategy that Powder is working with. The good thing if you're IronBoffin is you've pretty much seen most of Powder's hand, or at least a lot of it is on the field. So you at least kind of get some of those cards out of the way. The disenchant comes off. That is going to allow the the Jolton to hit over the Clovey and knock it out. But again, Boffin can simply expend a spirit in the end phase to activate the secondary effect of that poison tipped arrow, which is exactly what he's going to do, and that's going to clear the Jolton off the field and give Boffin kind of a fresh start here and a little bit of an advantage going into his next turn, as he's going to be able to pick up a nice draw here and kick off turn 3. He's going to immediately be looking into his Spirit deck and grabbing an Earth Spirit, and that's going to be a Rummagem. I love this. Rummagem is going to allow him to search his deck and grab another Earth Elestral. Oftentimes, you would see in a standard metagame someone grabbing something like a Viscerus, but in this case, he's actually grabbing the Equal Links. I'm a little surprised. Generally with Fruit, you would go to grab your Drataya to set up for a future turn, but in this case, Equal Links gives him that Nexus potential where he can start firing off some big hits into that back row or into the Stadium. Powder's going to go down with Quackle. That's going to allow him to regen 3 Thunder Spirits. The downside here is he really hasn't used too many spirits. He only has 2. I think that this is a misplay, and let me explain why. Had he used Zeus Disenchant first, he would have been able to regenerate that spirit with Quackle. So the play was to definitely use the Zeus first, hit the Rummagem, then play the Quackle, then regenerate the 3 spirits. A small misplay from Powder. He could have been +1. I think he only was able to grab 2 there. I'm not sure if he noticed that, but he is going to be able to knock out the Rummagem and give himself the field advantage. And with 2 face down runes, he's sitting in a pretty good spot. But don't forget, Boffin did just pick up that Equal Links, and he may have a Demeter in hand. Usually would go for the Equal Links if you had the Demeter, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Boffin's going to draw for his turn here, and he's going to immediately go right to his Spirit deck and grab an Earth Spirit, and then he is going to see the Drataya hits the field. Okay, so he's going to play Drataya into defense. We haven't seen him use Ambrosia yet. Does he have the Ambrosia? Is this going to be the play here? Let's find out. It's going to be... He's got it, Ambrosia. He's going to be able to regenerate 3 spirits from that. One of the cool things that Boffin can consider looking at in future weeks is the promo pack. That's going to actually get him 2 Pandison. And those Pandisons could be useful in this deck, right? Generally, Pandison is not a card that gets a ton of play right now, but it is one of the cards that can work in the Fruit engine because you can regenerate those Ambrosias. And it becomes worthwhile if you can pair it with Drataya. you're basically getting free Nectar of the Gods with your regeneration. So it's a really nice 2-card combo, and it is one of the cool little standouts that, you know, the Fruit deck can offer. So he's got 2 Earth Spirits, and he's going to play an Earthquake. So he regenerates those spirits with Ambrosia. He gets to draw a couple cards there, and then he gets to go for Earthquake. So nice plays there from IronBoffin, clearing the Quackle. You hate to see an Earthquake on a Quackle, but it's pretty clear that Powder doesn't have a ton of resources if he's playing Quackle with less than 3 spirits in his spirit deck. So again, not a bad play overall by IronBoffin. So let's see here. IronBoffin's got his Retire. It's in defense position. He's not going to really be able to do too much. So let's see. It looks like, does Powder not have anything? Powder's just going to let his turn pass. I guess we're going to listen in and find out.
I will. And I believe this works. Judge, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what I'm here for. Don't mess it up. I will use 1 Earth Spirit. Yeah, I will do that. Okay, so I will play a Jataya in defense. Now, Judge, would this effect, in theory, double? Would I get both of these effects if I were to do...
You would, yes.
Okay.
First, if you cast an Ambrosia, first the Ambrosia would happen, then you would draw 2, then you would draw 2.
Okay, so that is what I will do. So I will use 1 Earth Spirit to cast Ambrosia, to grab 3 Earth Spirits back from my Underworld. Put them in here. Okay, so that resolves. And then I get to draw a total of 4. So I'll draw my 2. And then I'll draw 2 more. Yep, I will end my turn.
A huge play from IronBoffin with the double Drataya Ambrosia. You gotta love that. Playing an Ambrosia and getting 4 draws out of that. It is hard to beat that kind of a combo, as Powder looks to find an Elestral to get right back into this one. He's got 2 defensive Elestrals in front of him. Is he expecting to draw? He's struggling to find Elestrals in his deck, and this could be the opening that Boffin needs to be able to take an advantage here. If he can get Latagon onto the field, he could be in really good shape, and even without that, we know he has the Equal Links and a ton of cards in his hand. He just drew 4 cards, so he definitely has plenty of resources there. Boffin gonna throw down a Thunder Spirit. Powder with a Thunder Spirit. What's the play here? Let's find out. He's thinking about it. It's gonna be an Ambrosia, but that lets IronBoffin draw 4. Does he know that? Oh my goodness, I don't know if he knows that. I feel like this might be a misplay. I'm not sure if the judge is gonna chime in, but IronBoffin gets to draw 4. He is indeed gonna draw 4. What a crazy play. Powder unaware that the Ambrosia works for the Drataya on the other side of the field. Boffin's hand is bigger than Powder's deck at this point, pretty much, and he's got all the options in the world to set up for this mid game here, as Boffin's gonna draw a card, and I don't even know what his hand size is, guys, but I would imagine it's at least like 7 or 8 at this point. He's got so many cards to choose from here, and he's going to actually go for an Ascension. Is it his Latagon? It's a Scavengem. That's huge. Scavengem is massive because he can now search his deck and grab any 2 cards he wants. Looks like he's going Equal Links and Latagon, any 2 Earth cards that are either 1 or 2 cost. Oftentimes, you would want to grab something like an Earthquake right now. I think if I'm IronBoffin, I'm grabbing Latagon Earthquake. But nonetheless, not a bad pickup. I think also one of the things that you could do if you're IronBoffin here is try to put a little bit more pressure on offensively. You know you've got those face down runes, and you're going to have to deal with them at some point. And since you have 2 back row, that means that you probably have a way to deal with an offensive attack from Powder. So I think putting the Scavengem into attack and maybe trying to go with that might have been a more advantageous strategy, because you kind of have to get through those runes eventually, right? So you might as well make him use it on something like a Scavengem where you've already used its effectiveness. One thing to note too is I'm unclear whether or not IronBoffin expended for Scavengem's effect. A lot of people forget that Scavengem is a card that requires you to expend to use its effect, so that's just something to note. But he does have an Earthquake, so again, there you go. Had that Scavengem been an attack, it may have burned one of the runes face down, or it may have at least forced a disenchant on Zeus or something like that. There was a few different pieces that could have played into part there, but nonetheless, Boffin seems to be in a pretty good spot, as Powder is going to reach for a Thunder Spirit and grab a Boom Bat. It looks like he's just going to boom into this Drataya, but he doesn't have to. He could use a Zeus and his Olympus, but he opts not to. I think that that's a misplay. I think if he had just stayed in with Boom Bat's at 3 attack, he disenchants Zeus, he drops the defense of the Drataya, and he hits over it. So I'm a little surprised to see that play, especially with 2 back row. IronBoffin ready to go for his turn. Torus hits the field. Does he have the Demeter to pair with it to buff its attack up? Currently, it's sitting at 4 attack, but every time an Earth Spirit hits the field, it's going to make him even stronger. Let's find out if IronBoffin has anything up his sleeve. He opted to not go Equal Links here, but rather just Torus, and I think he's just going to go for a single attack and hit for 1 into Powder. Powder still searching for Elestrals. He had that Quackle earlier. Here comes another Thunder Spirit, and it's going to be... What does he have up his sleeve? And Elechick, he can now search his deck for another Zeus if he wants to. Generally, most casters are not playing both Zeus to the field at once, but it's a good resource to have for the future, especially since he's probably going to want to use a Zeus hit right now to be able to hit over the Torus. Let's find out what the play is right now. Elechick getting ready to rock. Oh, Elechick actually sitting at 5 with the Mount Olympus, so I stand corrected there. So let's see what Powder has in mind. He is going to attack, and it looks like he's going to take out the Torus. Let's do a quick listen in.
Okay. So I'll activate Gorgon's Gaze. A little late, so feel free to tell me no.
You can cast Gorgon's Gaze in response to an attack, and doing so will cancel the attack.
Okay. Okay. I would like to do that.
Yeah, it does not need to be done before the battle phase begins.
I should have done it when he played his Elechick so I couldn't search the rune. But that's okay. Because he already had one. So that was a misplay, that was a mistiming, but...
Hey, listen. I know a bunch of the people are going to complain. Hey, buddy, guess what?
Guess what? No, they'll edit it out. They'll make me look okay. And then A-Drive will just
I don't care. No, don't edit that out. Put the learning in it.
A-Drive will just say, Ian, you idiot. And I'm going to be like, Dad, I'm sorry. Wish I was better.
No, I'm not going to say that, IronBoffin. That was really good recognition of a misplay. I can tell you guys, I'm the one who made the game, and I misplay all the time, and it's just important that you recognize that misplay, and you say, hey, this is what I did wrong. This is what I need to do next time, and hopefully after enough iterations of that, you will stop making those misplays, and you'll understand the correct kind of circumstance there. Gorgon's Gaze is a really cool card in that context as well. We're going to see the Demeter play here, and the reason why is you can actually utilize it on things like Torus or Galaxy to suppress their effects in the battle step, and you could essentially turn like a card upside down from that perspective. In this case, he uses it to stop the attack though. Here comes an Equal Links. This is exactly what Boffin was setting up from turn 1 pretty much with that Rummagem. Turn 3, I think it was. Now he's going to be able to Nexus from Equal Links and get another Spirit onto either the Torus or the Equal Links, and he can start popping some runes. So he's going to the Torus, and this is a smart play. And let's see, he's got to decide, do I want to take out one of the face downs, or do I want to take out the Zeus? At this stage of the game, I do think you take down a face down. He's going to go Tsunami, and Powder makes a mistake by not chaining, I think. I guess it's kind of neither here nor there. You chain it, and then he could just switch the Torus back. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. The Equal Links would be pushed to defense, but I do think the optimal play there is to chain the Tsunami. You really don't lose much, because unless your other back row is going to help here, I do think that would be the better play, is to chain it. You're going to take 1 spirit damage from the Equal Links attacking you directly after Torus knocks out your Elechick anyway. So at the very least, you put the Equal Links to defense position where it has a lower stat. But he has a Shield of Achilles, so he could have actually stopped both, right? And that's why that Tsunami play is really important here. He could have Tsunami'd the Equal Links to defense, and then he could have shielded the Torus back. I guess it still works out in his favor because the Equal Links is not going to be able to attack the Elechick, so you could go one way or the other, right? Like it's you know, in hindsight, it ends up, I guess, working out relatively well for Powder, as he's going to bounce that Torus back to hand. It's not gone for good, though. IronBoffin going to be able to execute that next turn if he wants to, and now Powder is forced to go back on the offensive now. He's got that shield out of the way. He's got an opportunity to draw here. Boffin, we're headed towards kind of the mid-late game now. Elechick's on the field. Boffin has no back row. That means Powder is free to put in some work here. Here comes another Thunder Spirit. He's going to go for an Ascension into Galvenom. Oh my goodness, Galvenom could pop this whole back row if he wants. Does Powder go big here and expend? He is going to expend 3, I believe, which means he is going to be able to hit the Equal Links and the Demeter all at once. A huge swing from Powder, and he's going to be able to hit directly as well. Galvenom rocking 8 attack right now because of the Mount Olympus. Does IronBoffin have a response to this? If you're Boffin, you had your opportunities to get your Lady Guns out. You had your opportunities to make a big play. You have your opportunities to go for Rise from the Ashes right now. With only 3 spirits left in his spirit deck, he is rising something. What is it gonna be? Does he go for the Torus? What does he go for here? He goes for the Clovey. Very interesting. So he's gonna try to get another draw. This tells me he's gonna want to ascend it. That's the play here. If you're gonna go for the Rise from the Ashes right now, you're gonna want to ascend it. The Clovey gives him a draw though, which is kind of cool. So I'm thinking that's what he's wanting to do. He does get that draw. He may be fishing to try to activate. Oh my God, can you imagine if he gets out Ladygon right now and then Golden Apple of Discord pops the Galvenom and hits for 2? Is that what he's about to do? No way he's about to do that. That would be an insane play. We're gonna see the Ascension off the Clovey. It is the Ladygon 7 attack. It is weaker than the Galvenom. Galvenom sitting at 8 attack because of the Mount Olympus. He has a couple different options here. If he has the Golden Apple of Discord, here is where you'd use it. 1 spear left. There's the Golden Apple of Discord. He had exactly the card he needed. All of those draws from earlier in the game with his Drithaya, all of those draws from the Clovey and everything in between led him to this moment to have that Golden Apple. He's going to discard a card from his hand. That's going to force Powder to discard a card from his hand at random. And now he gets to target and destroy a card on the field. That means Galvenom's gone, which means IronBoffin is able to push forward with a hit for 2 spirits. This clash is not over yet though, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason why is because Powder is still sitting in a position where he has a Mount Olympus and a Zeus in the field. That means if he is able to get something like an Elechick out, Elechick will be at 5 attack. You can use Zeus, you can drop the attack of Ladygon below Elechick and you can hit directly, or at the very least rather knock out the Ladygon, and then Boffin has no spirits left. So this one's not over. This one is definitely not over. Boffin gonna set a rune face down. Here comes Powder. He's going for the draw. This is about to be wild, guys. I cannot believe where we are right now as this game comes to a close. 1 spirit left for Powder. He draws. Does he have the combo with Zeus? Does he have a way to execute this play to get over the 7 attacking Ladygon with that Mount Olympus and the Zeus? Let's listen in.
How do I want to do this? Alright. I have to cast my last spirit.
Yep.
Does that make me lose the game or no?
No. Only if you have to spend a spirit you don't have. Oh, are you gonna beat? Oh, yes, you are. You crafty man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
you're gonna get me.
I'm gonna disenchant. That thing is 5/3. That goes down to 4. I'm gonna go ahead and attack for the 1 spirit as well.
Yeah. So I don't lose a spirit, but I'm out. He's out.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. GG's, man. That's GG. I don't have any more spirits.
Can't play?
That's it.
Wait.
I can't do anything.
Dude, hold on.
Such
I want you to understand, I had that entire plan, but that, if I did...
What an absolutely insane ending to the Elestriad this week, where 2 of the bottom ranking teams in this tournament had one of the best matches of the entire season. Ladygon hits the field. The Golden Apple of Discord almost clutches it, but Powder is able to draw the card he needs, the Jolton, to be able to attack over the 7 attack Ladygon and ultimately seal the deal. You can't ask for better games than this. That was really exciting, and just a big props to both these casters, as you can clearly see their evolution, their ascension over the last couple weeks as they're learning more cool strategies and becoming better casters overall. I love this, man. This gets me so hyped up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys for the next one in the Elestriad.